Dave Nemo. Would you care to introduce our next guest, by the way?
Bill Cain is with us. Bill is the Director of Product Management at Trimble. Bill, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, folks. How are you guys?
Doing great. Great to be here. Really meeting some wonderful people, too. And
Awesome.
You look like one of them.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah. Is this your first time to New Orleans?
Actually, no. I actually came here in 2002. I implemented one of our customers back in the day, Schneider National Bulk. One of their divisions was out of the Baton Rouge area, so throughout that week we made a couple of visits downtown to check out the scenery.
Yeah, fantastic.
What'd you get a chance to see?
We just walked down to Bourbon Street.
You checked out the downtown area.
Yeah, the downtown area. They kind of just brought me down, and since I was here, it was my first trip. Honestly, it was my first implementation that I led on my own, where I came to a customer all by myself. So it was like I was just fresh out of college. It was like about a year into my role at TMW Trimble, and had the opportunity to be part of one of the divisions that rolled out TMW.Suite at the time.
Can you, okay, and I've been asking this question to a lot of people. I know what you do for a living, so it isn't like me having no clue, but a lot of our listeners are over-the-road truck drivers. They're really smart men and women. Many of them own their own small business, or they've been working for a carrier, respectable carrier, quality carrier, 10, 15 years. Really, really smart actors. If I was asking you at a cocktail party, tell me what you do, and just give me the two-sentence version of it. How do you do that?
I would say my goal and role is to help facilitate efficiencies in the industry, whether that be internal in the office or helping drivers get their loads as quickly as possible with the minimal amount of disruption to their day, so that they have the opportunity to get their freight and keep that truck moving. So whether they're a company driver or their owner-operator, where they're trying to figure that out, and then optimize their day. Really get their trips to them on time, get their fuel solutions, where their next pickup is, and try to help them know where they can take a break along that route.
I've often heard it to the TMS sometimes is I guess the computer equivalent of a chief of staff.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
I think so, yeah. It really tries to organize and keep everybody moving in unison. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is making sure that everything is the way you hoped it in the morning, and continue to make throughout the day, to make those small iterations of changes, to whether it's a trip that's going to be late, or calling a customer for an appointment, or that driver unfortunately may have a breakdown, and keeping that driver, as connected as possible while they're on the road.
How do you onboard folks? And this is really important here too. Like I said, the person works for a long-term carrier, loves their job. It's a pretty easy process. Person who is already an owner-operator, has a successful business but wants to take the next step, there's a lot of work there to do with them, but it's a pretty easy process. It's the transitional people. Somebody actually has worked for a carrier 10 years, loves it, but their wife and them are ready to make the move. The husband and them are ready to make the move. Got a nice little nest egg. They're ready to go, but the one thing, as everybody knows, people go out of business at first for two reasons. One, they're undercapitalized. It happens. They can't make the market work for them. It happens. The other reason is they get too much. They get overwhelmed by the demand that they've found, and this kind of system is what prevents that from happening. So how do you bring them in? How do you help a person become their own business, become their own back end, or actually make their routes more efficient so they can pick up the pace and the money that they're making?
I think that's when you onboard maybe an owner operator, you sit down and you talk to them. What are your driver preferences? What do you want to get out of, working with me or using our product? So I would say understanding what their goals are, how many days a week they want to drive, what areas they want to go to, what kind of loads do they want to haul, what are their preferences. And then from there, when you build the system around them, when you have loads, you can tailor it to their needs and what they're looking for and what they want to adopt. So if they don't want to go to the West Coast, you can set up requirements, say, hey, Bill doesn't want to go to the West Coast, so let's make sure when we have loads, we focused on the area that they want to be in. They want to be home every weekend. Okay, you set up those driver preferences, those lanes, and then you get the miles that they're looking for. Like maybe they're looking for a certain amount of miles per week. If they're a husband and wife, they're a team, so they can get more freight because they can drive more hours per day. So I think it's really sitting down, listening to them, in hearing their preferences, and then building the freight and their technology around them.
Yeah, and Dave, that's the thing too. When we prep these shows in the morning, it's interesting how we prep these shows, because on Monday it isn't so much about us having an opinion. The way we do the shows is we pretty much have to know what you do. And we have to understand that what you do is how it kind of works for our listeners in the supply chain, and then we kind of figure out your socials. After that, it's a matter of kind of prepping you up to kind of answer these questions as well. When you start looking at what the ideal customer is, and I've always said this too, there is no ideal customer, it's a series of them. What do you look for? I mean, what are you looking for? When is there a moment, and I haven't asked this question of anybody, where you're like, can't help you? I mean, is there any person who works in the supply chain field where the answer might be we can help everybody, but is there somebody where you say, you know what, maybe you should take a breath before actually jumping in and taking on what we do?
It's a great question. I have a very open mindset. So to me, everything's an opportunity to sit down and understand your business. And I
At
think
some point, they will answer a question that will suggest they
and that
actually
will,
do.
yeah, and that will help me understand where maybe the deviation in what you do, what you're looking for out of a software package, or what you're trying to serve, what market you're trying to serve. So in my opinion, it's like, let's sit down and talk first before I say I couldn't help you, because I don't have a can't help mindset. There's a solution for everybody, and if you're willing to be open, and
we're going to exhaust the questions.
we're
going
gonna keep
them.
the age old of the 5 whys. Like, if you just keep asking why, you'll eventually get to where you want to go in life, and eventually it'll come to the conclusion like, yes, we can partner up. There's an opportunity here for us, or you know what, maybe we just don't have it for you now. Let me take it back to the teams and the engineering team and challenge them and see what they come up with. And maybe a year from now, we have a solution that may be tailored to your business.
Okay, I accept that. And that
I will say I did find one industry that I found was interesting, that was a challenging aspect in my tenure.
Can you say it? Are you able to say it? Can you talk in the ballpark? Because I like to hear what the challenge was. Because I actually do think that this stuff works for the smallest and works for the biggest.
It does. Car hauling franchisees.
Okay.
It's a challenging market.
It's a challenging market. It's an absolutely challenging market. Okay. So we come to conferences like this, and Dave and I always ask this question together. What is the purpose of a conference like this? Why come to it? Why should people come to this, and what is there to take away from it?
First and foremost, it's network with the customers. Like, we're all here because of a customer. They have problems, and we're here to provide solutions and collaborate with them. That's why I come. In product management, like, this is an opportunity where I have literally complete access to my customer base, and they get to see the things we're working on, and then they can validate that for us in a 2.5-day conference, which if I had to go visit each one of them individually, it would take forever.
It's also gutsy, too, because you're putting people who work with you in the same room, and they get to compare notes as well, too.
They get to compare notes. I did a session yesterday on AI, BI, and CI. We had about 85 people in there. It was amazing. They were taking pictures. They were highly interactive, asking questions. They really liked the flow from how we set up the deck and walked them through. So it's getting feedback directly from the customers, all kind of customers, and they're all willing to talk to you, and then understand their pain points. And then from the product management perspective, going back and challenging the team and say, okay, here's the top things I heard at the conference over the 3 days. Do we have a solution today? If we don't, how can we try to figure out a way to solve that problem? And is there a way to solve that problem holistically for the industry?
Is there anything in particular about this conference that you are looking forward to listening to or being a part of? I mean, look, a chance to meet with your customers, of course. Are there any presentations or new things that you guys have cooking? And when I say be a part of, I don't just mean like you want to learn, but you want to see what people think of something that you guys are putting out there. Yeah,
there's two things. The Trimble TMS that we've been highly focused on the last year or so.
You think?
Yeah. And then a product that I personally have got the opportunity to build is Trimble Fleet Hub. It's our new mobile comm solution for the industry, working with all of the ELD providers. We had an old product called TotalMail, and it just wasn't hitting the market. So this new technology that we built is all cloud-based. It has some AI technology with smart workflow, and really giving that opportunity for the customers to see what we built and we've gotten really awesome feedback so far, really engaged customers, and excited to go to the next step, which is to figure out how they can deploy it in their business.
How will you know if, in fact, it's going the way you want it to go? What are you looking for, a specific reaction?
An uptick of meetings directly with me to go over deeper demos, which has been
a big deal. That's a big deal. People don't realize that. Often you don't get what a lot of people don't understand, people who work not just in sales but in development, the people who actually understand that know that it isn't an immediate result, it's an immediate interest that then leads to long-term conversations. It's not about immediate gratification. Neither the system nor the process by which you onboard it. It's an onboarding process.
It is an onboarding process. The good thing is we've made the onboarding process much easier for this new technology, so we can take customers that would take weeks, months, down to days due to AI. Take their forms, we can pass them through agents and really come out with better solutions faster so they can onboard their drivers. And again, it goes back to that driver. The whole reason why we're here is because of our drivers, right? They're the ecosystem that makes this whole thing go. So my brother...
That's a big thing, isn't it? We'll tell you about your brother first. That sounds like a wonderful thing. Talk about
so
that.
my brother drove truck for many trucking companies. Right. And, Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner and Easter dinner, he was always like, I got to fill out all these forms and this ELD stuff, and I got to go from paper to electronics. And I'm like, it's just the world, the way it works. And as the world continues to get smarter and smarter and the technology becomes more adaptive to them, makes their life easier. Like the driver can show up, they get into their Trimble places, they pass that geofence, it automatically arrives, and they have minimal amount of things. Let them focus what they're good on, which is driving safely and getting that freight moved from A to B, and and having a living. And that's basically what he was most excited about. And we would have long, deep conversations on like how dispatch should dispatch me, and I want more miles or something. But at the end of the day, it's all about the driver. Like if we can make their life easier, they'll be happier, they'll stay with companies longer. And it makes customer service on both sides of the spectrum a really awesome experience.
That's the pitch. Well done. Dave, would you care to say goodbye to our guest and remind people who he is?
I got to tell you, I really learned a lot with all of you folks here this morning. And Bill Cain is with us. Bill, hopefully you'll come back on the show sometime and,
absolutely,
and talk with us some more. He is the Director of Product Management at Trimble. And looking forward to what time do things crank up in the big hall?
Here in a few minutes. The keynote speaks here in the next 15 minutes. So looking forward to our CEO, Rob Painter, and Michael Kornheiser kicking us off and officially opening the event.
I saw his speech from last year, the video.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm excited because one of our
Vegas.
customers are being on Fleet Hub or talking about it and their experience with the new product. So it's going to be part of Rob's keynote.
It's always good to make a new friend. Thank you for making the time to get over here.
It's a pleasure.